We're back! Natty!
Hello!
Oh,
Good to see you, sir.
Hang on, let me just fix up this border so it's not in the middle of things. Where is it? There we go. Make it pretty with the borders.
Oh, I like
there
that.
There we go. Oh, beautiful.
You gotta get fresh with the official nuts and bolts borders.
That's it. So, oh mate, it's fancy. Wait till you see like what the transitions I've got when they move between. Like they just flick between now. I know.
That's so sexy.
I know. I've gotten fancy.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Would co-stream again.
Oh, good. Woo! Yes. Co-host for life. Yeah, nice. That's good because I'd rely on you quite heavily for all the wonderful esports news that we have. We've got so much going on. So
it's just been crazy. The world is going nuts and esports is going nuts, and it's like, what do we even talk about? There's like 60 things to choose from. Hopefully we pick the best things to talk about today.
So we've just had a rather I'm going to say angry podcast because there was some angry things that needed to be talked about. I'm not disappointed that we got angry because we needed to get angry about those. So let's get some of the angry things out of the way to start with here. So the first thing is there was a Rainbow Six Major that was announced that was going to be held in the United Arab Emirates. So of course, as most people know, United Arab Emirates and the whole sort of Middle East aren't exactly known for their welcoming attitude towards gay and lesbian and bi, and I keep on forgetting what the acronym is, but
LGBTQAI plus. I think.
Yeah. Good job. But more than I could remember. But they're just a whole different sexuality thing. So, and that region has been growing in their esports love. So it is something that I think, like, eventually it may get there. But for now, like, it's not a friendly place for people. It really needs to. I think if you're going to do things, sorry, I'm just trying to talk and edit overlays at the same time. I think if you're going to have an international event like that, especially when your players come from all over the world and all different types of backgrounds, you need to host your events in an area that's accepting of everybody.
I think that's really fair, and I think you need to be able to ensure the safety of your players as well. Like, the last thing you want is them, roaming out in the streets and maybe showing some public affection towards somebody of the same gender, and then all of a sudden everything. And I don't know what the situation is currently like as well. I know particularly American attitudes toward the Middle East are certainly not as progressive as other places in the world. And I know the Middle East is improving. And we've certainly seen them invest in esports recently. So hopefully they're heading in the right direction. This might be just another quiet little subtle kick that they might need to make their events more welcoming and their countries more welcoming for international esports. So Charlie's just asked if we're raging about this. I think this was a good decision. We don't need to rage about this. I don't think.
Although I did miss out on my rage in the weekly show, so maybe it's my time. Maybe we'll give it a go.
We've got a few things.
Looking at the run sheet, I don't think it's going to happen. But but I'm quite happy about that. I like being happy.
I mean, it was interesting with one of the Riot tournaments for TFT recently because they were going to be holding the event in China, and a lot of the players that were from North America said that they wouldn't be able to go if it was in China, just because of the tensions at the time, their president at the time, lots of things that were going on. So it's going to be, I think, a bit tricky going forward if we, have more of a volatile international situation. How are you going to manage LAN events?
Yeah.
Is it even possible?
It is going to be interesting. And I mean, having LAN events are very important to these events. When you're talking about the skill level of what you are. Playing with a 200 ping is just unbearable. You can't do it. I may have been able to manage it in some MMOs, but that's because I don't play the really hard stuff. It's you need those LAN events, or if not a LAN event, then at least everybody in the same place, even if they're not in the same room with the low pings.
Yeah.
And the world stage and the volatility currently in the world, it's going to be a hard thing, and I think we're going to feel some repercussions in esports for this whole year. I feel like
agree.
And it's not just like this particular one wasn't caused by any one event. This was a we're trying to grow the region. So you may have seen in the little press release there, they refer to MENA as the region. So that's Middle East and North Africa. So even a lot of those Northern African countries like Egypt is quite a dominant Muslim religion there. So their stance on sexuality. I tried. I apologize, everybody. I tried, but on sexuality is also well known. So it's going to be an interesting thing, and it may just be for a while that they travel to other regions. And when you're talking about going to potentially Europe, because there was a six major in Sweden last year and Stockholm as well, I want to say.
It didn't end up going ahead there because of COVID.
Yeah,
so it was in Reykjavik in Iceland?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's always going to be stuff like that. Yeah.
I was just going to echo what Charlie said as well as in chat. We've seen the international community actually rally around this decision that the Rainbow Six major team have made. Yeah. And hopefully it's that kind of positive peer pressure.
Yeah, that's right.
Fingers crossed.
And now this is also going on those sorts of things where we sort kind of bow to positive peer pressure, although I'm not sure how much peer pressure there was, or just people looking at what they can do with the current world situation. For those that don't know, we do nuts and bolts straight after our weekly show, and we've just spent a decent amount of time talking about the situation in Ukraine, and particularly about how it relates to gaming and what gaming companies are doing, but also it affects things like esports as well, like World of Tanks, which we follow a fair bit with the ANZPL here, is a game that's very heavily played in Russia. They've got an office in Ukraine, which is being evacuated by Wargaming. So that's, but even other things like we're looking at, there's a Russian-based CSO. See, when my tongue starts
CSGO. That's okay. You've got a bit tongue-tied today.
I did. I've been talking for an hour and a half, so we're getting there. I'm going to have a good stiff drink after this. But yes, Russian-based CSO teams have been banned from Blast Premier events, and the CIS, which I'm not sure what that stands for, but that qualifier has been cancelled as well. So there's a lot of things happening in esports in general that is, and it's. So I'm just trying to find the right words to put this in an esports context, but you can tell companies are caring about this because they're actually putting money behind it. It's costing, or they're taking actions that cost them money, which is. It raises some questions about why they didn't do some of these things for other causes, but I'm glad to see that they are doing it for this, because it sends a message that this is not okay.
I think something that Pete touched on in the last show, and something that I'd like to pull into here as well, is that I think the situation, particularly with Russia and Ukraine, feels a bit more clear-cut. it feels more black and white to us, certainly in the West. And so where there's been war and conflict in other places, or, you know, where places haven't been progressive enough, like we were talking about before with the UAE, you know, there's some grey there, you know, religion and history, and maybe there's been a long history of war or conflict, whether Ukraine and Russia. Certainly for people our age, we're not all up to date with the Cold War and the USSR and all of that backlog. This just feels like it's black and white wrong. And so I think for progressive companies to then jump in and take this swift kind of action is going to get a lot of support of the younger viewership and the younger people internationally to say, they're taking action, great, let's support them.
One thing that's not quite so black and white to come out of this, there was something you pointed me towards earlier, Natty, about there's a Russian DOTA team, Virtus Pro, and there's some rumours coming out that they've been threatened with disqualification for not coming out and speaking against the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The kicker here is that this is a Russian-based organisation. And I don't know about you, but if I live in Russia and Russia does something that I don't like, I kind of go, that's a bit strange, and then put my head down and go back to farming potatoes.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts that anybody would expect anybody physically in Russia to be standing up against Putin, considering what we've seen on the media that we've had access to of just the protesters getting hauled away into the back of paddy vans and putting in prison. So I struggle a lot with this kind of article. Yeah. Because we know that there's a lot of sentiment in Russia that people aren't supporting Putin's actions and the actions of their government. So to be penalising players in those regions is really hard. And I guess it kind of comes along with the esports history and competitive history around political issues like this as well. Like we saw one of the players at a Riot event speaking out against the Hong Kong riots that were happening at the time, and that player got penalised. So
not just the player, the casters that were on screen with him at the time got penalised.
Yeah. And so I think asking people to speak out when historically they've been punished for doing that is really a big change, Normally we try to separate politics and separate war from everything, and esports is different, or, you know, sports is different. We try to put this line in our lives, but Russia and Ukraine seems to be getting pulled into everything.
There are two things I have about this. If you've reached the lofty heights of professional sports superstar and you have a passion about something that's not sports, you have a cause that you like to support, you can use that platform to talk out and speak about it, but don't do it at the risk of your own safety.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if anybody in chat or anybody listening knows basics of CPR. First thing, check for danger, right? You don't go out of your way to help other people if it puts you in danger immediately. That's what we expect of first responders, and that's what I expect of every human being, that you can't just throw your body onto the train tracks because you're just going to get run over.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm very glad to say that's probably the last sort of Debbie Downer topic, because I like I said, we've been going for an hour and a half now with the weekly show beforehand, and I'm quite happy now to move on to some
let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I like it.
Onto some good
to drop
news.
there in chat. He's got it, Dr. ABC.
Isn't it Dr. ABC D now?
It's D now, because you've got defibrillator on there. Don't forget the defibrillator.
That's it. I carry a defibrillator in my pocket. Just bear with me. I'm just going to hook up my jumper leads and. Was that a well-timed? Almost a spit take.
It was great.
But yes, let's get on to some. Well, I'm not sure if this is esports news, but it's definitely interesting news, and it's a race. And given that we had that debate with Menfonzo a while ago about is racing and speed running and esport, which we both kind of flip-flopped around to different sides of the argument by the end of it. I still like this one. So Team Liquid are going to host a WoW race to see who's the first to beat the new raid that comes out on the 8th of March.
Oh, I've just got a little ad blocker on that screen. I don't know if you do.
I do as well, yeah.
Yeah, I highlighted this because it's Team Liquid. So Team Liquid are heavily involved in esports, but they've also got a lot of other stuff going on their plate. So yeah, they have acquired this WoW guild to basically, race to the finish of the new expansion that's coming out, and they're going to do a stream of the whole thing, and hopefully this guild will hit the end of the raid first to take that prime position. But I just found it really interesting how they're diversifying, but still diversifying within games, which is cool. It's cool if they've got money to throw around. Absolutely, I love this idea.
Well, I really love the idea of hosting this race, and I really hope that because I'm like you, I've reached my maximum allowable articles on this particular website. esports.com for everybody out there. I probably shouldn't be pointing to other websites, but they've got some really good articles out there.
They write like 100 articles a day. We can't keep up.
But they've got some really good stories out there, and we refer to them a lot when it comes to like if there's a rumor that we've heard and it's not on there, then generally it's just a rumor. But seeing this, I really hope they get other guilds involved and potentially sort of put them all together. Like, I'd like to see some, like, I know racing to finish a raid first is a big thing. Like Destiny does it and other MMOs do it. So it'd be interesting to see if there's like maybe some prize money up for offering, because I'd really like to see that.
Yeah, I think that where we see this line between is this esports and is this not is when it's competitive and when there's money and when you've got the best people in the world competing at it. They're like the trifecta of things I like to see to call it esports. And they're close. Like this is close, and this is a really interesting competition. So
that's it. And you can get in a bit of practice. And if you're good at World of Warcraft, get together with your guild. You got 8th of March is when, what's it? Sepulture of the First Ones is the name of the raid. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's really excited. And 1000% support Team Liquid. Liquid jumping
Team
in.
Liquid, yeah. Another interesting thing that's coming up. So we've got some Rainbow Six Siege open qualifiers happening in Australia. So looking at it at the moment, there's 3 teams signed up for this, and the top 2 teams in this open qualifier go through to the Oceanic Challenger League for 2022. Like, so that's pretty good odds at the moment. That's like 2 out of 3, 66% chance of making it into the finals.
Yeah, like the Challenger League for Rainbow Six Siege in Australia is the kind of gateway league. So you play in the Challenger League, and then you might get promoted up into the major leagues from there. So this is the starting point for your esports career. If you're interested in playing Rainbow Six Siege and you've got a group of mates that you want to play together, this is the kind of thing you want to jump onto, because odds are great. And if you guys have good synergy, sometimes that's going to beat out the players that might have, individually technically skilled players. But if you guys are playing every weekend together, you might be able to snag a spot in the official league, which would be an opportunity not to miss.
Yep, and this qualifier is happening this Sunday. So you can...
This Sunday.
I'm just trying to think where we can put the... I'm going to chuck the link in chat.
Yeah, chuck the link in chat, like that.
Yeah, so anybody in chat, if you can, go and look at that. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll have to find it for yourself. Sorry.
Just look up ESL Gaming, Rainbow Six ANZ Challenger League. That's a bit of a mouthful. Yeah. ANZ Challenger League will probably get you there.
Yeah, that's it. So, and I've got a video to show. So, for this next one, I'm hoping...
we can probably chat over this, because this is the video of the game that we're talking about.
Hang on. I haven't flicked my computer across to... to go. Yeah,
tech difficulties.
Not tech difficulties, just forgetful Jim not doing things. All right, so if we go to this one and we play, and let me turn that down because that was a little bit loud. So everybody else just got their eardrums blasted out by that wonderful music. So VR fishing.
Yeah, it's insane. Sorry. Real VR fishing. I joined their Discord server yesterday because wonderful Natty, who people might know, she is a VR streamer in Australia. She was doing a promotion for them because through the game they're giving away Oculus Quest 2 headsets. So jump in and look up the game for that competition. I actually might put the link in chat as well. But they are running a tournament for real prize money. So you go and you get the biggest fish you can from this specific location in the maps on extreme difficulty, and the top people are in the draw to go through to the next round. So fishing VR esports, something I never thought I would see.
That's rather cool. Like, I like that idea, because I've got my VR headset here, and it's I will say it's criminally underused. I need to use it more.
Yeah.
But I tend to go for like the flight sim games.
That kind of immersion is good.
But I kind of like the idea of fishing, because the best thing about fishing for me is just sitting there and having a few drinks and just talking shit. So if I could do that on a stream, I could talk shit with chat, have drinks, and catch fish, and perhaps win some of the stuff in this contest. Man,
well,
why wouldn't I?
You know what's really cool about this too, and they're not utilizing this feature in this tournament, which is kind of disappointing. But what they're going to do, I can word. This game has 4-player multiplayer.
Oh.
So you can be fishing with 3 mates at the same location in VR. I would love for esports to chuck 4 people in at a location. Whoever catches the biggest fish in, 30 minutes or whatever goes through to the next round. Like, that kind of tournament would be really interesting to me, because it creates that more of a head-to-head environment, rather than what they've done with this is that you need to send in a video or a screenshot of the fish, as well as some kind of timestamp, so that they know that you did it during the tournament period. Which, is okay, but it feels a bit anticlimactic. You don't really get that competitive kind of thing. You just get the tall stories of, I caught a fish, it's big.
Yeah. Oh, he got away. It was huge.
Yes. So there are some active streamers for this game, and I like to hope that some of the people that are entering the tournament are streaming from their perspective as well, just to catch that. But yeah, I've honestly, this has really captured my imagination, kind of like Farming Simulator did when they started making adjustments to run an esports league for that. I think this could be really interesting.
Yeah, maybe this is the testing of the waters to having a fishing esports, because that'll be pretty damn cool.
Yeah. I absolutely love Renaissance in chat. Fishing without having to worry about going outside. Sounds great.
And getting your hands all messy from the bait. Ugh.
I don't have the patience for fishing, so I'm kind of hoping in this game they've popped up the population of fish a bit more, so you get more on the line. But yeah, really exciting. If anybody's interested, I've put a link in the chat. That'll also take you through to the Gleam contest as well. So if you are interested in trying to get yourself an Oculus Quest 2, it's just one of those competitions where you've just got to like them on social media and that kind of thing to get entries in to win. So
be right back. I'm just entering that competition because I would like to update my Rift S. Not that there's anything wrong with the Rift S. It's just that it's on a cord and the Quest is not corded. So,
I know. How exciting is that? I just love I love the idea of just like fishing and maybe being able to walk around your lounge room a little bit. I
love the
this
idea
side of the
of
pier.
I love the idea of being able to sit in my chair and spin in a game and not get tangled up in a cord.
this has its benefits. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't have VR yet, but I'd love it. It's still
a little bit niche, but I love it. It's like when you get into a game, like I bought a game over the Christmas period, which seems weird talking about that considering we're in March now. But I bought Star Trek Bridge Crew, and you can play it alone, but it's a shit more fun in multiplayer. So you've got a captain, and you've got a helmsman, engineering, and weapons. So basically, the engineering guy like transfers power around. So if there's a problem with the power, he moves it around, and the helmsman directs traffic and like where you want to go, and the weapons does weapons, so they target certain things, and the captain sits back and goes, you do this and you do that, and then there's certain functions like the teleporter that everybody can do. And I just love the idea of being immersed on an Enterprise and just go, we're doing this now, let's go this way, and warp factor engage.
Yes. It's good. Yep, it's good. Cool. I think they're working out more and more ways to make VR interactive and not just like VR chat, but integrating competitive and catching up with friends and all that kind of stuff a bit better. So
so that'll be good. Get in on the fishing VR competition there. We're flying through these points, Natty.
We are.
I know on the list I've only got one left, but there's something else I want to talk about at the end. So
all right.
We'll cover off this one because the Oceanic Esports DOTA Championship is in full swing right now.
Yeah, this has been super exciting, and for anybody in the community, you might know Huzi. He is one of the guys in our community that follows Dota a bit more closely than me, and I was catching up with him, and what he was saying is that they've actually had a recent patch for Dota, and so some of the gameplay has been really exciting because people are taking advantage of some of those newer exploits. There was one particular character that had their ult just go on for days, which is something new.
I think I saw that. Like, he was just unaffected by anything for God knows how long, and got like 3 kills or 4 kills out of it or something. It was crazy.
Yeah. So we're certainly seeing some people take advantage of the new patch, and it's making a really dynamic play situation. So we are a few days in. It's all wrapping up on the 6th. So if anybody's interested, just go and check out Oceanic Esports over on Twitch, and I can't remember their handle, but I am going to quickly double check that now.
But it's another really cool contest. 25 grand US prize there, 10 teams competing off in this tournament. Get amongst it, have a look at it, and like, you've only got till Sunday to watch. Why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. And annoy Huzi in Discord if you don't understand what's going on, because that's what I do.
Yeah, that's how you learn about sports. Like Poor Mercury with League of Legends over the years. God, actually, that's another thing I want to talk about. Just briefly, because I've been watching the LCO because that's back on again, and was watching before we started up here. I was watching Pentanet and Kanga Esports playoff, and it was another quick game. It was like a 19-minute game, but what drew my attention is that they used a Rift Herald on an inhibitor, and I'm just sitting there going, who has a Rift Herald long enough? Like, I know it's a quick game, but who holds onto a Rift Herald long enough to use it on an inhibitor?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. I'm still completely thrown by Kanga because I am obviously from Adelaide and old school Legacy. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I need coffee. Old school Legacy fan. And, obviously they were sold to Kanga, and Kanga have run with Kanga as the name, and so I feel a little bit lost in the league. Like, I kind of go for Pentanet because my friends are in Perth and like support Pentanet, but I haven't found my new home yet. So we'll see.
So looking for group.
That's exactly right. Looking for group. We'll see. I really appreciated it today. One of the post-game interviews with one of the guys from Pentanet. He wanted to put a tie on for the post-match interview, but couldn't work out how to put on a tie.
Oh, poor Rogue.
Thought it was very sweet.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to send in one of those good old clip-ons.
That's right. Yeah. That's it. So good. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, because it's getting close to starting in, I'm very excited. ANZPL Season 4 for World of Tanks.
Ooh, heck yeah.
23rd of March. It is so close now. It's only a couple of weeks away. Big changes happening this season. I don't know if you've heard, Natty, but it's gone from 8 teams to 6 teams. So, and I've forgotten off the top of my head which ones they lost.
Is my Action X still there?
Yeah, Action X is still there. It was it was one of the NZ teams and the Matildas left. So the Matildas is an interesting one because they won the grand final last year.
Yeah, that's an interesting team to choose to take out of the league.
But,
I mean, it's obviously interesting the way the league works with how they draft, and they do have players from all over the country in different teams. So location isn't strictly the only reason why they would choose to remove one team or another.
But they still need to have... the rules of the ANZPL are that you have to have 3 of your 7 squad mates from that city. Yeah. So there's still those rules around that. Season 4 Fantasy League's up. I'm going to bookmark that for later.
Thank you.
I've got to beat J-rated. I'm going to do it this year. It's my year. It's going to happen.
You have to remind me as well, so I don't forget a week and then I'm just behind the whole time. I mean, I'm sure I'll be behind anyway, but for legitimate reasons.
You've got to give yourself a really good chance.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
But so one of the opportunities to come out of the going down to 6 teams is that we go to a double round robin now.
Oh, so double round robin, yeah.
So rather than playing each other once, each team gets to play each other twice, which...
That's good.
It was always a bit of an interesting thing, because if you had a good game against one of the better teams, then that was the only game you played against them, and it might not necessarily have been a good indicator of where you were, but now that you get 2 games, you might have a chance for some revenge. So I'm quite excited to see how that plays out there. And yeah, it'll be good to see the team. I think, what did I see? The Scorpions have got an unchanged lineup again. So there's a couple coming in. So every other team has pretty much had some go in and some come out.
Gosh, you've got to believe that's going to be an advantage for them this season, having the same team members.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been so lucky for them so far. Because I've got some really good players between JT, Napa, Joe Atora, Knight, Aussie, Russian. There's so many good players in there that even Raspberry featured fairly heavily in my fantasy team last year because he was a good player, always seemed to get points, but was a pretty cheap buy-in. So it'll be interesting to see how they go, and maybe Scorpions will go all the way. Maybe Sentinels will come back again and be a 3-time champion. Or maybe the Action X might get up there. Or maybe the Perth might come from 7th again and make it to another grand final. So,
If you knock out Adelaide X again, I'm going to cry.
But yeah, so the 2 teams that are gone, Melbourne Matildas and the Auckland Archers. So, which also means that the Christchurch Conquerors are going to be a team to watch out for as well, because
they'll be consolidating.
They've picked up a few of the Archers players. So that'll be an interesting one to watch too. So I'm looking forward to this season kicking off on the 23rd of March. So that's only a couple of weeks away. And don't forget about the B League as well. The B League got registrations for their players open at the moment. So
excellent. Oh, that's good news that we've got this time to sell that to people as well. Jump into the B League.
That's it. And they're aiming for 6 teams. So that's grown as well, because I think they started the first season with with 4 teams and then 5 teams, and to get 6 teams. Because I know I've spoken to Jake Truman, who's associate producer for the ANZPL, and I know he's a big soccer fan, and I'm pretty sure he would love to see some like promotion and relegation happening there. So,
that could be exciting,
fingers crossed we can get the B League pumping and see some promotion and relegation happening. I'd be super keen for that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I should mention. Sorry, I'm just reading the page that the ANZBL registration's closed on the 28th of February. So unfortunately, that's finished.
Missed out.
And the qualifiers are happening at the beginning of March. So that'll be happening now with the draft on the 17th of March.
There you go. So I'm having just some Ted Lasso vibes here with all the talk about relegation.
No, it'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing World of Tanks get back up, and it's just such a fun thing to watch, and I can't wait to get into talking to some of the players and getting their insights into the game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your player interviews coming back, because it was always good when you could chat to them, especially after they had a big week. Say, oh my God, that play! And get the ins and outs of how that kind of stuff comes together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's about it for Nuts and Bolts.
Heck yeah!
Good job. Thank you so much for coming in again, Natty. It's so wonderful to have you back.
I am sorry I was away, but I am back, and you're going to have to deal with me for the rest of the year.
Oh shit! No, no, it's great. Love working with you on this, Natty, and love hearing about all the esports news. So, thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you next week for more Nuts and Bolts. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch this video. If you like what you've seen, why not check out this video here? Or if you really like us, drop us a subscribe. And don't forget to like and comment as well. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.